welcome back to the channel. So this video is going to be a little bit different. I realized the other day as I was starting to try and put together some more videos again that it's been a year since I started this project and started putting videos up on YouTube. So I thought I would just do a kind of quick video that goes over what I've done in the past year and how far I've gotten, how far I haven't gotten, quite frankly, and what's going to be coming next in the next year. So sit back, relax, grab a beer, grab a coffee, and enjoy this kind of look back over last year and where I'm hoping it goes from here. So one of the things that I think is actually most interesting is, I started doing this channel just for fun, but mostly so that I could show family and friends who aren't around the progress and where I was going with it. And as of the recording of this video, I actually have 250 subscribers, which is pretty cool for a channel that is really just following some guy who doesn't know what he's doing around working on his car. So for that, I want to say thank you to those who have subscribed. I guess now would be a good time to do the whole, make sure that you continue to like this video. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I love all the comments I get. They're super helpful. I love the words of encouragement. Really enjoying doing this. So be sure you subscribe and like and leave those comments down below. And let's continue looking at where I've gone from here. I figured it'd be a good way to start off the video as me sitting in the car, hoping eventually to be able to drive this thing. So a bit of history on the car. So I bought the car pretty much beginning to middle of COVID. So the whole thing I actually bought online without seeing it. The gentleman I bought it from sent lots of pictures and helped handle the shipping. So that worked out well because I couldn't even, it was during the time when you weren't even supposed to travel interstate. So by doing that, it was a little bit of a gamble because, I didn't really see it in person. But as far as I'm concerned, it turned out pretty well. The car itself is extremely solid, really no rust on it whatsoever. It seems to have been very well taken care of, at least up until the latter part of its life where something happened, and as we found out later on, most likely had to do with damaging the oil pan. Somebody either tried lifting it with the oil pan or hit something in the road. Put a big dent in the oil pan that slowed the amount of oil flowing through the engine, and we had spun bearings, all sorts of bad stuff. So that being said, I knew when I was buying it that it needed engine work. I bought it because I wanted to try and tear down and rebuild an engine. So for those of you wondering what needs engine work sounds like, this is an old video of me actually starting up the engine. The audio is not great, but you can very clearly hear the engine knock in this video. So would I do anything different? No, not at all. This has been a really fun project so far, and I'm continuing to learn from it and really enjoying what I'm doing. So once I got it home, it was time to go through and see whether or not I got really lucky and it wasn't a spun bearing and maybe it was just lifter tick. So I actually went through before I started videoing any of this and replaced all of the hydraulic lifters, and unfortunately that didn't make a difference. So that was when I knew it was time to start tearing the engine apart. But in the middle there, I also went through and redid the interior on this vehicle. The carpet was 30 years old and really needed to be replaced. So I bought a new interior carpet for this and replaced that. But I think for the first time doing this, it turned out very well. Certainly there were some places where I made some mistakes, and I've learned from those. The old adage of measure twice, cut once really came into play because I didn't do that in a couple places and had to kind of patch things up a little bit. From there, I decided to also fix the dash because the dash had, over the years, been sitting exposed to heat and sun, had kind of warped, and some of the dash had pulled away from the heat vents. So I went through and actually stretched the dash, or the rubber on the dash, in order to make it so that it looks more like original, and that turned out very well, I think. And then finally, since I had all of that stuff out, I also went through and I actually replaced all of the dash lights with LED lights. The dash is now much, much brighter, but it's actually, really, quite frankly, it's now usable, whereas before it was so dim you could barely see it in the night, even when it was fully lit up. I also went through and fixed and repaired the heat and AC controls. The display on it was not working. And if you check the forums, there's some information out there on how to repair it. People's success in doing it is probably about 50-50, maybe less. From what I can tell, I got lucky, and I'm one of the 50% that it worked well for. I did do a small modification and put in a fan that helps keep it a little bit cooler and hopefully keep the components from burning out. But I actually had it running before, tore the engine out, and actually had it running for about 30 minutes with no apparent issues. So we'll see how long it lasts. But there is instructions out there on how to do it. It's very time consuming, but it can be done. So after all those different changes were made, it was time for me to really start pulling apart the engine. And like I said, that's really when I started videoing a lot of this. I videoed it not only for myself, but also to share with my family so they could see the progress that I was making, and also for anyone out there who decided that they thought that this would be a good idea as well, to take and restore a Stealth or a 3000 GT. So that started me posting videos. And, I didn't really ever expect to see the channel grow that much. If I had 50 or, maybe 100 followers, I'd be amazed. A year and a half later, I've got 265 at last guess. I'm not going to be a YouTube millionaire, but that's okay. I don't want to be a YouTube millionaire. But it's really cool to see the channel grow. And thank you to everyone who does watch these videos. Leaves comments, likes, so on and so forth, even shares some of the videos. So in going through, I did video the entire engine teardown process, how I got the engine out, started showing how to actually tear the engine itself apart, the steps I took there, and sent the block off for repair. And once the block was back, started slowly putting it back together. Now, I am not as far as I had hoped I would be at this point. A year and a half in, I was hoping that this thing would be on the road. I severely underestimated the amount of effort that would be required to do this engine rebuild, and I'm only just starting to get the engine rebuilt now. You'll see there are more videos coming up, and to give you an idea of where things are at, well, I think the videos that are posted just show me putting on the oil pan. I'm definitely further than the videos would lead you to believe. Not a lot further, but I'm further along. And I have tons of videos to sort of edit together to share out with everyone. I would be remiss if I didn't stop to thank those people who have really helped me along through my journey here. So the first one is my cousin Sean. Sean has been a huge help in answering a lot of questions late at night, text messages, as well as just giving me a hand getting started as I started putting this engine back together. The next group of people that have been super helpful is the 3SI forum. If you're working on a 3000 GT or a Dodge Stealth and you're not a member here, I highly suggest joining up. They have been super helpful in answering a lot of technical questions and helping give guidance on how things should proceed forward. Most importantly, I have to thank my wife. Not only did she give up her space in the garage so that I could work on this engine, but her constant encouragement has really helped me move this project forward, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without her. So, I think that'll be it, and, stay tuned. I'm going to continue to put out more content, and hopefully we can see some real progress made on this, and fingers crossed that we get this thing on the road sometime in the spring or summer of 2022. Please keep those comments coming. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe. Be sure to like the videos. Leave comments down below. I love reading all the comments. They're really helpful, especially when people give some advice on some different things that I'm doing. And with that, see ya. You can hear the tick.
Yeah.